This is one of the best portable gaming experiences that you can buy in 2026. Just let that sink in for a second. So for whatever reason, it seems like the PSP has become really cool again. And of course, I'm not at all immune to hopping on the bandwagon. And so I've been messing around with a couple of these PSP 1000s right here. And I have to say, the PSP is actually a really cool system. You know, somehow I just feel like the PSP has a little bit more charm to it, especially once you have a UMD in your hand and you're loading your games on optical media in something that's probably a lot smaller than your phones. And you might have been able to notice that one of the first very obvious mods that I made to both of these PSPs actually is the screen right here. So I went ahead and followed in the steps of many other people lately and got myself a laminated IPS kit. This thing looks absolutely incredible if you compare it to the original setup on the PSP 1000, especially since my screens were somewhat yellowed. These new screens are amazing. They look very, very sharp. I'll try to get better footage than this, just demonstrating the clarity of this screen. And with that 480 by 272 resolution, it's got like the same pixel density as a 24-inch 1080p monitor or something. Like, it's not all that bad. Of course, it's not a very big screen, but that just lends to it being a very portable system. And you might be able to see that I have something else really weird going on with the white PSP specifically. This charging port right here is not supposed to be a USB-C port, but as you can see, I can connect a USB-C cable just fine and charge my PSP with a modern USB-C charging cable. It'll even work with like a USB-C power delivery charger. This mod was made by a very talented modder in Spain, and I just ordered it online. It arrived at my door in about 2 weeks, so I'll be sure to leave a link to this mod right here because I thought it was actually very, very cool. So this white PSP 1000 right here was actually ordered right from Japan, so it is truly a PSP 1000 and not the American 1001 model. Mostly the same as a regular PSP 1001 that you'd get in America, except of course it has some weird firmware stuff, like for example the confirm button is the O button and the back button is the X button. And I went through a whole bunch of trouble basically taking this thing entirely apart all the way down to the very bare bottom shell right here, and I cleaned the whole thing in my sink. I carefully reassembled everything before I went ahead and put on this IPS mod just to try to get things as clean as possible. But overall, I have to say that the PSP 1000 is a very solid feeling console, especially the UMD mechanism where it will automatically present you your UMD right there. It'll spring open. The PSP 1000 has got to be my very favorite iteration of this console. It just has a quality to it that I don't even feel like you really see with the Vita by comparison. As good as the screen is, and it's bigger, the Vita is just missing something that the original PSP really does perfectly, whether it's the form factor being just right, the build quality, or just the fact that the PSP really has some very impressive hardware for its time. Of course, back in 2004, the PS2 was still Sony's main console. And so to see games coming out on the PSP that really rivaled some of the PS2 release counterparts is very impressive for this time period. And honestly, the PSP is really cool. Even if you're just wanting to learn how to program homebrew for a console, the PSP can teach you a lot of very fundamental things. Of course, the open source PSP SDK is available, so it's not that hard to start writing your own code or even just mess with the SDK examples. I used the mini USB port right there. I just hooked my PSP up to my computer, and I was able to start compiling demos and actually getting stuff running on my PSP. Not to mention, the PSP also has some really great emulators, and honestly, I think it makes it a really good contender in a world where most of the other emulation handhelds are basically just smartphones, and you can still sign into your social media. You'll still get bombarded with all your feeds that you don't really want to see. The PSP kind of gets around that. I think there's a really good merit to just having a device that only plays games. Sure, it has an internet browser, but it can't load websites, so you don't really have to worry about being always connected like you do with all of your modern devices. And of course, on both of my PSPs here, I am running the latest Arc 5 firmware. So if I check this out, you can see this is 6.61 Arc 5 CIPL. Arc 5 seems like the newest, most up-to-date custom firmware option, and it actually gives you a lot of really cool settings. Like, for example, if you want to set your CPU clocks in-game and in the XMB, maybe you want to save a little bit of battery in the XMB, and you want to overclock, you can go 443 megahertz right there out of the stock 333 megahertz clock on the PSP. That's actually going to be a pretty significant improvement. Not to mention, it gives you all the other nice things like enabling WPA2 support, so you can connect it to somewhat modern Wi-Fi routers, and a lot of other really helpful options that just make the PSP a lot nicer to use. Something that I did really want to try that just seems like it's a perfect fit for the PSP right here is actually emulating Game Boy Advance games, because it's really kind of interesting to realize that this right here only came out like 3 years after the Game Boy Advance. So to see something that had a way higher resolution screen and could literally emulate the Game Boy Advance is actually pretty impressive. And to show this off without getting my channel taken down by a certain infamous video game company, I'm going to be using this ROM right here, which is a port of the Bloxers Flash game from when I was in like elementary school. So you probably remember from when I was testing out the Japanese portable dictionary right here, I actually used the exact same ROM. So we'll go ahead and see if I can play it any better this time. Go ahead and start a new game. Go through right here, and I can already say that the form factor and everything of the PSP, as you can imagine, is much more suited to playing GBA games than a Japanese dictionary. I still can't do it because I'm trying to remember how to speak to the camera, and so I'm not able to clear even the simplest parts of the level. But you can see that is actually running perfectly fine. It does look like we have a frame rate counter up here, which is staying locked at a constant 60 frames per second. I'm sure the Game Boy Advance does have some more demanding titles that would probably run into some performance issues, but at least for this game right here, it is running it perfectly fine.
But of course, one of the things that you have to remember about the PSP is that this is 2004, and one thing that the PSP was not competing against, in Sony's eyes anyway, is the smartphone, because they wouldn't exist for another 3 years or so, and that means that the PSP is actually kind of a surprisingly good platform for media consumption as well. And the XMB kind of reflects this. It's of course the same interface that Sony used on the PlayStation 3. It feels right at home here, and the PSP somewhat famously uses the exact same audio DAC right there for the headphone jack that was featured in some iPods, like the iPod Classic 5.5, meaning that it actually has some very good sound quality, all things considered. I went ahead and threw my music library on here and went ahead and listened to it. As far as I can tell, this thing sounds really, really good. That's a lot more than you expect from any other handheld game console nowadays.
All in all, I think what really draws me to the PSP more than anything else is just the fact that it does so much with so little. We've got a 333 megahertz MIPS core and 32 megabytes of RAM on this little handheld. And honestly, to see just how much work was put into some of the retail games for the PSP back when it was actually relevant shows you that maybe we're not going in the right direction, making everything even more expensive, even more powerful, and even heavier, when really you can have an amazing gaming experience with something like the PSP. So I hope you thought this was interesting, and thank you very much for watching.